Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about how it is working as a trans person, and let me tell you something, it is not easy. Hopefully the quality and the lighting in this video isn't too bad. I use natural lighting as my lighting, and it's really dark. It looks like it's about to rain, so I feel like it's a little bit dark and weird, but hopefully it doesn't look too bad. A lot of trans people actually talk about this topic. I don't know why. And as someone who worked in retail as a guy and then now works on retail as a trans girl, I've definitely noticed a lot of differences, and it's definitely a lot harder to work in retail as a trans girl. And I'm ready to talk about it, and I just want to share my experiences and just things I have to go through. Whenever I'm working, I get misgendered all the time, which is something that's very, very stressful. And the sad part is that it doesn't only happen with customers. I get misgendered with other employees and managers as well, which is so freaking stressful. It's so annoying. My name tag clearly says Christina, and people still come at me and they still say sir or he. And the managers and the other employees, like, I try to correct them as much as possible. And it's just something that happens on a daily basis. And the thing is, I don't feel like I look like a guy. Like, I don't feel like I look 100% like a girl yet, because I'm still not there. I just started transitioning like literally not even a year ago. So I feel like it's just so stressful, like every single day being called sometimes my legal name Christian and sometimes with male pronouns, which is so stressful because that's not what I like and that's not what I like to be called. And I hate it. Being misgendered, it's always very, very awkward. I'm gonna give you an example. A lot of the times customers will come and like tap on my shoulder and be like, "Excuse me, ma'am." And then when I turn around, they like stare at me for like 10 seconds straight, but they stare at me with this like confused look in their face, and they look at me up and down and they're just like, "I mean, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am." And I'm just there like so like awkward, so uncomfortable. Like, Jesus Christ, like it's like one of the most uncomfortable feelings that you will ever feel. And then I have to correct them and be like, "Ma'am, I'm a girl, it's fine. What do you need help with?" But it's super, super awkward. It's like 20 seconds of like silence. I'm just like staring at me, making sure that like, "Ma'am, sir." And for the most part, they say it. They're like, "Sir, ma'am, sir." It's just so uncomfortable, and it just sucks that I have to go through that. And I feel like as I transition and as I continue with the hormones and my hair gets longer and things like that, it's not going to be as frequent, but it's definitely happening on a daily basis. And I try to keep cool. I try to be as reasonable as possible because I'm very androgynous, and I come across as a guy a lot and a girl a lot. So I'm very androgynous at the moment, but I try to be reasonable because it is a workplace, and I just ask them, "What do you need help with?" and just do whatever they need help with and just move along. Whenever customers misgender me, I try to keep cool and be reasonable because I just met them and they're a little bit confused, and it's my workplace, so I'm reasonable. But what pisses me off is when other employees or managers misgender me. It is so annoying because I correct them all the time, and they all know my backstory. And when I was working at DSW, there was this one assistant manager that just did not get it. He did not get it at all. Every single day it was the same issue. Whenever he would be on the walkie-talkie, he would call me a he. Whenever I was with him, he would call me a he. He would use my legal name, and it was just so stressful. It's so annoying. Like, how many times do I have to tell you? And other employees as well, they sometimes misgender me, and that is when I get pissed off. It's like people who know my backstory and people who can, work with it. It's just like, it's so stressful. But whenever customers misgender me, it's fine. It's cool. Let's just help each other, and it's fine. But when employees and managers, misgender me, and how many times do I have to correct them? It's just like, it's so, whenever I'm working, the amount of comments, of whispers, of points, of remarks is so abundant. There is so much. And the fact that like they think that they're like hiding it, or the fact that they think that like I can't hear them, is so crazy to me, because I can totally hear you. I can totally see whenever customers point. I can totally see whenever someone's whispering in someone's ear and looking right at me. Like, I can see those things. I can hear. I have ears. And for the most part, it's always the same thing. Like, "Oh, what is this? Is this a he, she? Or like, oh, what the fuck is that? That's disgusting. Like, I hear that. And it happens all the time. Like, working as a trans person is not easy. And I'm not trying to sit here and be like, feel bad for me. I'm just sitting here and like telling you the reality and how scary it is to work as a trans person. Like, I am seriously, every time I had to go to work, I was seriously scared because I don't know how people are gonna react. Like, everyone's different. And so the amount of just like comments, side comments and remarks and the disrespect was really there. It was real. And it's just the fact that people didn't think I would be able to hear, but I have 2 ears and they were perfectly fine. And yeah, it's a little bit like degrading and it feels terrible. Like, the amount of times that I had to like walk past people and then hearing them say like, oh, that's disgusting, and just like literally pointing at me, and I just wanted to go to the bathroom and cry. It has happened a lot, and it sucks. I'm going to tell you guys 2 stories that I have never shared ever, not even to my parents. The only people who really know these things are my coworkers because they obviously see it. But I was a cashier at a shoe store, and I was, helping people with their purchases, and, everything was going fine. There was this one time where, I had to call next, and when I called next, I saw that it was like this older lady. And when I said next, she stared right at me, and she didn't yell, but she loudly said, "I'm not going to let that thing help me." Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, okay, I'm getting emotional. But, so she said that, and, sorry, that's my dad. So she said that, and, I immediately felt embarrassed. Like, okay, I'm getting emotional. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to, take a moment, but that is not okay. Like, that is not okay. I don't feel like anyone should ever say that. I don't think anyone should ever have to go through that. And when she said that, I instantly felt like death. But I tried my best to compose myself and to just be like, okay, the next person. And I acted happy, and I acted like everything was fine, but it hurt. It hurt a lot, and it's just something that I haven't talked about this. I haven't told it to anyone because it's a little bit embarrassing, and it just sucks. So that was one story, and then this is the other story, which this one I had to run away. I had to go to the break room, and I had to tear up. I had to do my own thing because this one really did fuck me up. And okay, so I worked at a shoe store, and I wasn't always a cashier, but mostly, for the most part, I was a cashier. But sometimes I would help customers and, clean the aisles and make sure everything was picked up. And I was cleaning an aisle, and I saw this lady, she looked a little bit confused. She looked like she didn't know what was going on. So, I asked her, I was like, hey, do you need help? My name is Christina. I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions, come to me and I'll help you. And then she said, no, everything's fine. As I started leaving, she didn't even wait for me to be at least 10 feet away from her. Literally, I was still 2 inches away from her. She said this the worst thing ever. She said, are you ready? I haven't told this to anyone. She said, I hope he kills himself. Yeah. And the thing is, I knew she was talking to me because she wasn't on the phone. Why would she say that? You know what I mean? Why would she say that? She wasn't on the phone, she was by herself. And as I left, she said that. And I immediately was I tried my best to compose myself and act like everything's fine for the sake of my job, and I didn't want to make a scene, but I really couldn't. I had to run to the break room immediately and tear up and just let everything out because I couldn't work like that. I couldn't work after hearing that. I couldn't. So I let everything out, and I just had to remember okay, she is not worth my tears. This is my life. I'm doing what makes me happy, and just screw her. Fuck it. Fuck her thoughts. Who the heck is she? No one. She's literally trash. So I just try to compose myself, and after that I went back and I, did what I have to do. But those are two stories that just suck, and they're like a good representation of like the discrimination and the disrespect that happens while like trans people are working. Like it's still very it's still there. Like the disrespect and the discrimination is still there. Another thing about working as a trans person, but I don't think it has to do with me being trans, because as a guy I did have to go through this too, or like I did go through it, is I get hit on a lot by guys. A lot. Like I have a lot of stories of guys giving me their numbers, of guys hitting on me, being a little bit like weird with me, but it's just something that I've always been through, as well as like when I was a gay guy and I was working at Target, and as a trans girl working at DSW, like both experiences I've always been hit on by guys. But I think as a trans person, or I guess just as a girl, you get hit on a lot more. And I do have some stories, but I think I'm gonna make a separate video on it because they're pretty crazy. I don't want this video to be all negative, because my experience working as a trans person hasn't always been all negative. There has been a lot of good moments as well. I have met very, very nice employees who are very open-minded, and we have become friends. As well as there has been numerous occasions where customers come up to me and tell me how beautiful I am, how brave I am, and how much of an inspiration I am. They always tell me like good things like that, and I can name like numerous occasions where that happened. So my experience has not always been all bad, but at the same time it hasn't always been all good. For example, there has been this one time where this older lady came up to me and she told me, "You're trans, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I need help. My son just came with the I'm trans and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to comfort him. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help him. I don't know what to do." Like she was just genuinely very confused. And we had like a 30-minute conversation, which is really bad because I was working. But we tried to act like, I was helping her with some shoes and like, things like that. But we had like a 30-minute conversation of like I was just helping her, and she genuinely seemed like she was very accepting. She loved her son so much, and she was very excited and happy for her son to now become her daughter. And it was like a very cool bonding experience. I got to help her. She told, like, it was just like a very cool bonding experience. And so my experiences has not always been bad, but for the most part, they happen. It happens all the time. Like, discrimination happens with a lot of people, with trans people, with gay people, with people of color, with other minorities. It happens a lot, and not a lot of people talk about it. And I have seen it with my own eyes, other discriminations happening without like me, like with other people as well. So it's not like something that I just go through it and only trans people go through it. A lot of people also go through it as well. So if you have any stories or something that you want to say, definitely leave a comment in the comment section below, because I want to hear your stories, and I just want to talk to you guys as well about it, because it happens to a lot of people. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!